One thing we know is coming next is the first Fed decision of the year, 2 p.m. Eastern today. The Fed is widely expected to hold rates steady, and the decision comes as Chair Powell continues to face scrutiny from the White House. Michael McKee, Bloomberg's international economics and policy correspondent, joins us now, who's in Washington for the decision. Mike, what are you going to be looking out for in a meeting where we're likely to get no change?
Well, we might get a news void at the Federal Reserve, Danny, because the Fed isn't expected to change interest rates. Here's what we are watching. Of course, that decision will be announced at 2 p.m. Wall Street time in a statement released by the Federal Reserve Open Market Committee. And the follow-on question is, do the words additional adjustments to the Federal Reserve rate appear in that document, suggesting that it's still an open question about whether they cut rates again in the future. We'll also be watching to see who else dissents. We're going to start from the proposition that Stephen Miron will dissent, and whether politics or policy dominate what is going on and the questions that are asked of Jay Powell. Now, the dissent or disappear question is posed by Bloomberg Economics. We concede Myron's going to dissent, but there's Chris Waller, because he's considered one of the possibilities for the Fed chair. And if he doesn't dissent, does that write him off? Do we end up the day with Rick Reeder and Chris Waller off the board? We don't know. It's all Donald Trump. We'll have to find out. But the real suspense, I think, is going to be whether or not the president is, whether or not the chairman is going to engage the president again and talk about his efforts to control the Fed, or whether he's going to try to disengage, figuring it could only hurt the markets at this point, and say he doesn't have much to add to what he's already said.
I wonder why Scott Bessent won't agree to do the job. President Trump has said he wants the Treasury Secretary to run the Fed, and apparently, Bessent has demurred, saying he would prefer to stay at Treasury. Why? Isn't it like an incredible honor to be picked to run the Federal Reserve of the United States of America?
Well, I suppose it could be considered that, and many people would thus accept the job. But as you know, your friend whom everybody likes, I hear, Neil Dutta, is pushing for Scott Bessent. But Bessent has a job that encompasses a lot more than just monetary policy. If you're the Fed chair, you're going to deal with monetary policy, but that's about it, other than managing the day-to-day operations of the Fed, whereas Bessent can get involved in just about every international and national debate right now, and it is probably more interesting to him than joining the Fed. However, because this is Donald Trump, can't rule it out.
Wow, Neil's ears must be burning this morning. Hey, Mike, thank you so much. Looking forward to your coverage of the Fed decision. Don't miss that. It's our special coverage. Kicks off at 1:30 p.m. New York time.